and you should always live in fear of Hashem, like 24/7, not like sometimes in your day. And it'll help you like watch out what you do, if Hashem would want you to do it or not. And now, Israel, what does Hashem your God ask of you? Only that you fear Hashem your God. Mesilas Yesharim cites numerous sources which demand that one exert effort to learn how to serve God with pure intent. The most essential ingredient, he writes, is striving to sense a genuine fear of Hashem. King Solomon stated, "If you seek it out as you seek silver, and search for it as you search for buried treasure, then will you comprehend the fear of Hashem." He does not say, "Then you will comprehend philosophy." Then you will master astronomy. Then you will understand medicine. Then you will grasp the meaning of fine points of law. These pursuits, while commendable, are not the ultimate purpose of life. It is comprehension of fear of God, which truly warrant incessant study and research. Mesilas Yesharim suggests that one set aside a specific period of time in his daily schedule to contemplate a personal approach to the fear of God. He also describes the process of acquiring fear of transgression. So what I'm about to read is like a way you can personally approach how you can fear God on a day-to-day basis. One should constantly make himself aware that the divine presence is found everywhere, and the Holy One, blessed is he, carefully watches everyone and everything, great and small. Nothing is hidden from his eyes. When one truly lives with this awareness, he's filled with awe. He genuinely fears acting in a manner which is not accordance with the wishes of the Almighty. So if you know that all the time that Hashem is watching everything that you do, big and small, everything, then you will really understand that you should fear God at all times. Rav Yitzchak Blazer, fondly known as, sorry if I say this wrong, Rav Itzel Petterberger, observes in his masterpiece, Or Yisrael, that by nature, men are easily frightened. Wherever man turns, he finds himself surrounded by either real or imaginary danger. He is afraid of the crime and competition, afraid of the future and the unknown. He fears failure, sickness and poverty, pain and death. Indeed, the list has almost no end. Thus, it is curious, if a man is being prone to fear, why does he not also live in awe and trepidation of the most powerful force in the world, the omnipotent God, master of the universe? But no, in his daily life, man seems not to take notice of his creator at all. Even those who scrupulously follow the dictates of Torah and mitzvot as a whole seems not overly concerned about sins they commit time to time again. So basically, this guy, he fears like day-to-day fears, like something that everyone fears, like sickness, poverty, death, everything, but he doesn't fear God himself. Also, it's saying that people who do like mitzvah, like for example, like you could wake up and do modani, which is a mitzvah, but then like later on in the day you can go eat bacon, and you think that like God's not watching you, but he is. He's not only watching you in the good times, he's also watching you like 24/7.
Don't call out the Spartan like that.
What?
You just called out all the Spartan. That's not nice.
What? People eat bacon?
I'm joking. I need that to believe. Go on.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. Rabbi Yitzchak Blazer explains that man's lack of natural fear of God is indeed unfathomable, yet this strange phenomenon is nonetheless the result of God's perfect design. The Creator himself purposely plucked fear of God from man's heart so that humanity could enjoy its most precious privilege, the gift of Bechira Chapshit, free will. If man was overwhelmed by a natural and instinctive dread of the Almighty, he would unthinkably choose good. Evil would not be an option at all. Thus, by the divine decree, man does not fear God instinctively, yet man can acquire the fear of God intellectually. By actively seeking to recognize God's dominance over every phase of life, man slowly fills his heart with reverence and awe. It is only by this active and forceful pursuit that he becomes imbued with fear of God. There is no other way. Indeed, if you seek it out as you seek silver and search for it as you search for buried treasure, then you will comprehend the fear of Hashem. So I'm guessing the homework for this week is to try to live in fear of Hashem all the time to make sure that you know that Hashem is watching you 24/7. And did I say anything wrong? Avi, I feel like
Wrong? No such thing as wrong in learning, but let's define what fear of heaven is, because we're using that term very loosely. It's not fear as in like, you're fearful of like someone robbing you, or you're scared you're going to get attacked by someone. That's not the fear that we're referring to over here. It's loosely turned as to fear, but fear, yira, when we talk about yira shemayim, it has a much deeper root than the shallow fear that we refer to of like fear of something, a physical harm, fear of the unknown. Yira shemayim is a more of an awe than a fear. It's an awe because of a reality, right? As in you're not scared of it, but since you recognize the absolute truth of a reality, it creates a sense of awe. It's something you take extremely serious, right? So it's like, let's say like a person's health, right? Like you're not necessarily scared of a particular, let's healthy habits, let's say, right? You're a person, you try to eat healthy, you try to exercise, whatever it is, because you realize that like one time, like if you get older and you realize that your body, God forbid an older person has like a stroke or a heart attack, right? It's not that they're scared of the heart attack. It's that they're in awe of it. They recognize that it's a true reality, and it's something that is they need to be mindful. They need to start to change their diet. So it's not that they're scared that something's coming for them. So Yira Shemayim really is just the recognition, and there's a lot of the rabbis that really say that what is free will? Everything is in the hand of God, everything except for a person's capacity for Yira Shemayim, meaning how often he brings the reality of God into his life. That's the only thing you're really free to do, is seeing God in situations. Everything else is out of your hands. So the fear of God is not fear that God is sitting there going to smite you for the bad and reward you for the good, right? Not like Santa Claus, but the fact that God created a world with a mission, and everything that we learn about the purpose of a Jew is a constant reality and is a real reality, and that every single thing is going to be taken into account. That sense of awe, that importance of awe, is going to be protected. It's going to be safeguarded, right? An example I like to use is in a relationship between a husband and a wife, right? That you're not scared of your spouse, you're not scared of your husband, but you're in awe of him, and you care so much about the relationship that you would be quote unquote scared to do something that would damage that relationship, because it's the most important thing in your life. So that's what Yirat Shemayim is. There's no question that what he's saying is our mission is to try to bring God into every aspect of our life. The question is, how do we do that? How do we make that tangible homework? How do we make that something that we can proactively do? I know a few weeks ago we did it with our speech. We made an emphasis to say Baruch Hashem or Be'ezras Hashem or Amir Hashem during the week. What can we do? What can we do to help foster a stronger sense of Yiras Shamayim in the day-to-day, starting to really see godliness in everything that we do, so that we have that awe before we make any sort of decision. It affects our decisions in our moral affairs and pretty much everything across the board. It's actually interesting. I was reading this week's parsha just started Shemos, and in the very first Aliyah, they was talking about Paro commanded Shifra and Pur, the two midwives, to throw Jewish boys into the sea, and then the pasuk says that they had Yirat Shemayim, and therefore they didn't. They saved the boys. So it's so interesting. Paro commanded them to do something by killing the little kids, and it says they had Yirat Shemayim, and therefore they didn't. Why? Because if a person has Yirat Shemayim, then they're not going to do something that's crazy immoral, because they're going to constantly think about the moral ramifications and their role in life and where God plays into the picture. So there's no question, the more we bring God into our lives, the more moral our decisions will be, and the more humility ultimately we're gonna bring a state
I
of
have a question.
Yeah.
You said that most things are in God's control, but like if we have free will to choose, it's mostly in our control. But God would know what we're doing, but still we're choosing that decision. Like we're doing that thing.
Yeah. I mean, listen, it's a terrible example, but it's one that just popped in my mind, so I'm just gonna say it. But the rat race where like scientists will put like a rat in a maze, and then they'll sort of direct using the cheese as to where he's gonna go. It's kind of like that.
Yeah.
Your whole life is sort of set up. You do choose the decisions you make, but God creates all the stimulus that is around you constantly, that is steering you in one direction or the other, you know?
But you take control of your life.
Yeah, I mean, you can defy it at any point in time, but like everything in your life that's external is set up. Your health, the amount of money you get, the people you meet, the decisions that are made for you, you know, all those things are really God. And the only thing that's really left for you is another famous saying. What do we say? Like, you're not in control of what happens to you. You're only in control of the way that you respond. That's a clear line on Yiras Shamayim. It's the recognition that God's the one running the show. How should I conduct myself after the fact? That's why it said intellectual, on an intellectual level, because when a person thinks and ponders this with their mind, right, they're going to bring themselves to that awe. So that's clearly our challenge. I mean, that's really, really the theme, and that is the gateway to humility. When we say if humility is, it's not about me, I recognize where this comes from, then our mission is to try to make it that we can constantly have that on the forefront of our mind. So, Joe, what do you think our homework should be this week? I mean, obviously, we know what it is. How do we do it? What's something practical that we can do that'll help sort of condition that throughout the week? I want to find something a little bit simpler, something that's not as like, you know, ritualistic. It's interesting. Like the guy walks around with a kippah on his head. Like it's literally what that's meant to do, you know?
I was
Go, Julia.
Yeah, Jules?
no, you go ahead, you. And
No,
then
I
I'll go
wasn't
after.
saying anything. I was thinking.
No, you hang up.
Okay, I was gonna say like, we could like, I don't know if I'm the only one who does this, but sometimes I'll like look up at God and be like, you know, don't look at me right now or something like that. So like how men wear kippahs, like our little thing could be like look up and be like watching me, like he's not missing out on this little part, you know, so we can like look up and like that'll be our little recognition. Because I do that like in my day-to-day life. I'm always like,
Look up, like throughout.
yeah,
throughout
like
the
I
day?
don't know if that makes sense for anybody else besides me, but I
Kinda
feel like
makes
it'd be like a good reminder to be like, oh, yeah, the judge is watching, but not the judge, but like the judge.
sense. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
I think we could do that, or we could also do like we all wear like our TJ bracelets, like the lion bracelets, and like not as like a Avodah Zarah thing, like where like you look at it and like you think of Hashem or something. I'm saying like you look at it and like you remember like, I don't know, like it's just like a reminder of like, you know, like there's
Like
God here and like,
Like that.
yarmulke.
Yeah, if we have to wear it the whole week.
yeah.
Which one do I wear? I don't want to wear all these.
I'm not wearing these. I never even got one from Avi. Oh no, I did. I never got one from Sarah.
I'm not even gonna say anything.
I don't want one. I'm kidding, but yeah, I like that.
Let me see if I have a.
Okay, got it.
I'll put one on too.
Oh, do you see this? Your
Yeah.
color, right?
That's my color. I'm gonna wear my wife's color.
Should I wear Sarah's too?
So is that the homework? Just because I don't like listening to stuff when I drive.
What was the homework?
We wear our lion bracelets and like it reminds us like, I don't like the parallel though that like when we look at the lion bracelet like we think of Hashem. Like I think that's kind of weird, isn't
No,
it?
but that's no. I mean, listen. That's what tzitzis are. That's what a mezuzah is. That's what a yarmulke
Okay.
is. Like, obviously, this has no actual, you know, symbolism like to it, but still, it's the same thing. It's trying to create a way that you're. The goal is to recognize that God in every situation, bring him into every situation, right? Actually giving him like, giving a look up. You know, like that was you. I got you. So something that you can wear or put on that will give you that constant reminder.
Yeah.
And the goal is, the homework is really just try to, no situation is too small. Really just try it and every and any point to recognize that God's there and he's running the show and that he's a reality in that moment. And he's got your six.
Yeah, I like it.
Me too.
All right, I gotta go, but I love you. I love you guys. I was gonna say love you, Avi, but then I'm like so used to hanging up the phone that way. But
Love you, Julia.
I'm gonna have my bracelet.
love you, Joe.
Bye.
All right.
No, I have a bracelet. I don't need anything else.
All right. right, guys,
Bye,
game
thank you.
on. Lila Tov. Thank you, Joe. Who's up next week? Julia?
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
I could do it.
Yeah.
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 I want to.
Okay, I had my interview today.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. We
Ooh.
talked for an hour.
With who? With Marilee?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Can I I'm going to try to call you tonight if I can. I'm going to call you tomorrow because I want to hear all about it. Okay.
Okay. I'm going to school tomorrow though, so
Oh, what time?
Bye.
like
Like,
like I don't know, school times and at 3.
in at 3? Okay. I want to call you tomorrow. I want to hear about it. But it was good?
It was really good. Yeah. We talked for an hour. She and she sent me a voice note that she sent to Avery right after, and she's like, "My God, she's so much like you. She's amazing.
Let me see if
She's
she messaged me. I haven't touched my phone in so long.
Mm.
She did. She sent me a voice note. You know what that means?
You think that they're gonna do it, and I'm gonna be like they
Yeah.
really like me."
They're gonna love you. There's no question. There's no question. You know, listen. That charm will only get you so far in life, but you know, ride the wave.
I'm in this far.
Yeah. That's so exciting. Good. So, how do you feel afterwards? Do you feel like pumped up?
Yeah, a little bit during it. I was, like not about Machon Mayan in general, but just like, seminary. Like I don't know, just. But I feel like anytime it's like explained, I do that. Like anytime I actually start talking about it. But I know that once I'm there, I'm gonna like it. And yeah. But can I tell you something that's actually been bugging me? But like I couldn't talk to her about it, or like why do they not care about drinking in yeshivas? But like in seminaries, they're so like strict. Like that sucks. Like, come on. And it's like all so strict.
It is very true, and the reality is that there is a big difference between men and women, and this is one of the ways that it manifests itself. I want you to picture. I mean, what goes on, first of all, in town is really, it's really bad. It's bad. You know, it's disgusting. It's wild. You have, you know, hundreds of 18-year-olds away from their parents getting drunk. I mean, it's like it's a real spectacle. It's kind of gross. You know, I was very much involved in it, and it is gross. Now, just imagine the difference between a bunch of guys versus a bunch of girls. You know, getting plastered and embarrassing themselves in a public setting. Girls don't bounce back as easily as guys would, you know, and coming back would give their school a ridiculously bad reputation, you know, when people would see what that's like. So it's girls, fortunately, girls need to be protected more. For girls to go out like that in those situations, it could be very, very dangerous, and it could be, you know, it's a lot more immodest for a girl to be in those situations than it is a boy. The world wants to sort of even the playing field and say that boys and girls are the same. But if you were, you know, at a concert and you saw a guy crowd surfing, and then you saw a girl crowd surfing, and you just saw a sea of hands reaching out, grabbing every square inch of her and her body, it's very different. And you know, schools get that, and they want to protect their girls. They want to keep them safe. They don't want them, you know, face down in a gutter, in a pool of puke. So where do you draw the line? They draw the line. They say no alcohol entirely, you know, not even just going out to a bar, having a beer, whatever it is. They draw the line because that line can get crossed extremely easily. There are places, not places you want to go, but there are places that do let their girls out there, and you don't want to be involved in that. You don't want to be involved in that. I don't know. Are you such a big drinker anyway?
No, I'm not. But I mean, it's like I want to
country,
have fun.
The country's very small. And there's only certain places, like there's town, like in town is known. So everybody goes to the same central place, and it becomes wild. It becomes out of control, right? It's not like, you know, you and a couple of your friends went to a different city entirely and went to a nice classy restaurant to have a glass of wine. Like that's not what happens. We're talking about going to town, getting hammered and just pictures go up on social media. Like it's I feel like you'll understand it towards the end of your year. You'll be like, all right, I get it. You know,
I mean, I guess, but it's like, because, you know, like I didn't do anything bad in high school, like at all. Like
got
I've
the
done,
summer. Turn up. And first of all, I don't know if you'd have a desire to go out and do something bad per se, but like, you know, drink a little. I mean, listen, you got to be careful with this stuff in general. Like drinking.
totally. And I know, like, I'm smart. Like, I'm not going to let anything happen to me, but it's like,
Well, when you drink, you might not have that choice after the fact, and that's
I mean, like, just, I don't know, like,
because you go out with towns, you go out with
know,
friends,
on
and
my
like
own, like
talk
some
to them.
girls are like very deep trouble, like right now. Like that's like I don't know who and I don't know what, but like Avery just told me, like some girl, like there's this whole thing, and like, oh, they drunk, and now, like, you know, they're like, oh, do we admit it, do we not, like, oh, like, and I'm like, oh, that sucks, like.
You will get unlimited amount of years with the ability to drink whatever it is, but in certain circumstances, it is a real protection thing, not just physically, but also just like your dignity. Things can go sour very, very fast, you know. So if you and a couple of friends go and you drink by the beach this summer, whatever it is, but you can get into a world of trouble. You go out there with. I mean, I could paint 14 different scenarios for you how quickly things can go sour. You know, when people start drinking and like, I trusted you, you were supposed to look out for me, and then that's next thing you know, they disappear. You can't find them. You end up getting into a random cab. You end up not going back to your place. I mean, there's wild stories out there, and it's just, you know, in a foreign country like that where things get very wild, it's very small. You know, everybody knows everybody. Everyone has social media. I mean, it's really just a safe way. You know, you go away to like someone's house for Shabbos, and like on a Friday night, they give you, you know, a few shots and beers. It's one thing, you know, and the school never has to know about it. But other girls are very dumb. They make really bad decisions, and you know, you got to draw the line. Machomayan used to be in Beit Shemesh, a lot closer to town, and you know, they attracted a lot of party animals, and then they really try to change their image. And those type of girls, I know you're not that type of girl, and I get you. Everybody wants to, you know, you want to have that fun, you want to have the experience. You can and you will, but at a different year, you know what I mean? Like the year after. But I get you. I get you, and it's common.
Okay. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway,